साकेत किधर है? साकेत किधर है? साकेत किधर है? पहले तो आती नहीं।
हेलो अशोक। हेलो हेलो, मेरी आवाज आ रही है? हेलो
हेलो सर, अभी म्यूट है ना यहाँ से वही। हाँ अभी बोलो आप।
हेलो,
नहीं आ रही सर।
नहीं आ रही? आपकी तो आ रही है उधर से।
अभी बोलो।
हेलो, मेरी आवाज आ रही है अशोक?
जी सर, जी सर आ रही है।
आ रही है ना? अच्छा अच्छा, ये जो कैमरा है ना, इसको जूम इन करो थोड़ा। और करो। और हल्का सा इसको राइट साइड में करो जरा। बस 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 बस, ज्यादा हो गया। बस 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 बस, थोड़ा सा जूम इन और करो। ओके, ठीक है, अब ठीक है। अच्छा, मेरी वॉइस क्लियर है ना?
यस सर।
अच्छा, आप वो जो सामने माइक है ना, उससे बोलिए आप जाके।
ठीक है सर। हेलो हेलो सर, क्लियर है?
हाँ ठीक है।
ओके।
अब एक और किसी और माइक से चेक कीजिए।
हेलो हेलो सर, आ रही है
हाँ
आवाज?
ठीक है। हाँ ठीक है।
हेलो हेलो।
हाँ ठीक है, ठीक है।
ओके सर।
ओके।
अभी क्या करना है सर, रुक रहे हैं? आ जाओ।
ऊपर आ जाओ, ऊपर आ जाओ।
ठीक है। आपके आ रहे हैं और क्या आ रहे हैं?
Eventually, this was trying to organize, but I don't know what. Just going to one thing. The front I don't know what it is. We never met you.
Ah, really?
Because I was not traveling for long. यार टेस्ट करवाने
तो वीडियो बता देते कौन सी है वीडियो बता देते अच्छा वो वहां से
अपडेट प्राइस we are making the auditors.
Sir, अभी क्या करेगा? We just started to work. No, सवा 11 हो गया 10 मिनट.
जब भी नहीं चेक किया टेस्ट करा तेरे लिए बड़ा रिस्क है
पीसीआर की दवा उसकी तरफ से निकल ले लिया अभी से मैं कमान लगाई
Good morning. It's the first thing we are getting. Okay. Before the time okay. I will ask you when I will have first time living on the
There was a great meeting. Thank you. I remember it's little ahead of time. He knows how to.
Almost
Nobody knows that.
Hello.
दो बजेंगे इकट्ठे फिर आवाज करेगा दूर कर लो जब मैं दूर चला जाता चलो मैं वीडियो तब शुरू कर दूं जब आप बोल दोगे
Hello.
Good morning. I am Rakhi Sharma, Secretary, PhD Chamber of Commerce. Welcome. I'm just waiting for few of our other speakers to join.
Good morning, Mr. Rakesh.
Good morning, madam.
I have today some network issue. I have somehow entered into it.
Okay, just a minute.
स्वयंपाक खोलीचा बंद कर.
Good morning, Mr. Sangrai. This is Jena from NABCB, QCI.
Good morning, Mr. Mridunjay. How are you?
I am fine.
Yeah, welcome. I'm just waiting for one or two speakers, then we'll start immediately. Huh?
Yeah, fine.
Good morning, Dr. Alam.
Good morning all.
Good morning, all. We'll start the session. We are just little delayed by 2-3 minutes. I welcome you all. Today's session is basically the part of our international conference on tube manufacturing, which is started yesterday. We were having eminent speakers not only from India, but we have received speakers from Switzerland and Bulgaria also. This is basically focused particularly on cosmetic, pharma, and consumer sector. And today's roundtable exclusively to address the issues related to product trust. The session topic is key stakeholders roundtable on promoting product trust in personal care. So this is today's topic, and we have the speakers with us. So it is divided into two parts. Part one is opening session. We'll be giving 5 minutes to each speaker, and after that we will be having another panelist discussion. So we have with us Mr. Praveen Bhatia. Mr. Praveen Bhatia is the founder of Tube Promotion Council. He is associated with the personal care industry from last 25 years, and he will be coordinating this session, as well as he will be moderating the session, panelist session also thereafter. I am handing over to Mr. Praveen Bhatia to please take it forward from here. Dr. Praveen Bhatia, please.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody. And I'm very privileged to have an opportunity to coordinate today's session with such eminent speakers which will be there. And I must say the beauty is, India is a country where the beauty is steeped in the very roots of our well-being. Personal care and hygiene is going to be very big manner in India. Going to reach
people are waiting for to give you what you need. Today, we are very happy to introduce such personality who has given his whole life for this type of technological development. Mr. Miroslav is with us to talk on what the new technology is serving for the collapsible tubes. I have seen, I remember, I'm talking with that because we have less speakers today. So that's why I say, let me speak a little bit, then I'll give you a lot. I remember when I started my career in 1985, first visit I made it at SL Packaging Limited Bombay, which has been changed to the SL Propack. They were making the laminated tube that time. Before that, I visited Patel Extrusion Limited, Impact Extrusion in aluminum collapsible tube. I'm talking the tube technology. Today, all the hurdles have been overcome. Technology, what they are saying that you can get the raw material at your factory. You can make the tube by machine. And you can form the tube and seal it there itself without any contamination, without any type of difficulties faced. Technology advances have made it possible too. So we'll listen on the technology from Mr. Miroslav. I would like to introduce him first. He's our first speaker. Mr. Miroslav is a veteran of the laminate tube industry with expertise in the design of manufacturing of unique technological equipment, automated lines for the production of laminated tubes and tube filling automation. Mechatronica is a company located in Roma, Bulgaria, has developed innovative machine offering best price performance packaging machinery for laminated plastic tubes, form, fill, seal equipment, the FFS. Laminate tube in the FFS form, okay, and liquid cosmetics, semi-liquid, and beverages. This is a product where it is especially forming of the equipment for metal containers for last 60 years. So with this much, I welcome Mr. Miroslav and request you to please give your presentation. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me to talk. I would like really to present something that is new, and I hope and we hope that this technology will give a lot of new opportunities in the packaging industry, especially in the chip making industry. So let's start our presentation. I don't know where it is.
Who's IT person, please?
This is Kajal Anand. Welcome, Mr. Kajal Anand. Just unmute, yeah. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Praveenji. Good morning to all of you. And before I start, let me thank the organizers to have given me this opportunity to speak amongst the August gathering. I'm just checking whether I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. Now, coming to our main point is the promoting the product trust in personal care. It is always said, trust is the foundation for growth of any brand. Now, what is the brand trust? It is a seller's promise to deliver a specific set of features, benefits, and services consistent to the buyer. And if the brand delivers these promises, it eases the consumer's decision making, reducing cost of information gathering and processing information. Simultaneously, it reduces the consumer purchase risk and increases their expected utility. Now, discussing the critical product trust issue, if the promises are not met, it becomes difficult to trust the brand. Now, what could be the possible solutions for that? Today's technology has made things so easier that the ingredients are listed on the pack. Just you Google it, and the auntie will tell you all about all the ingredients and its uses. Other possibilities, word of mouth publicity, testimonials of a customer over what they have to say about the brand. So normally consumers can consider the opinions of the people they know or who test interesting products. They could be his or her close friends, influencers on social media, classmates or colleagues that somehow affect their behavior. Most probably today I also see people trust small companies because they are perceived as being more personal, which increases the degree of identification and interaction with them. Secondly, one can go on to the BIS, that is the website, the Bureau of Indian Standards, where the respective standards are uploaded of the product category particularly, and in that standards there is a forward. In the forward, everything is mentioned as to how and what the product should contain. One can even check with the company's customer care people or email them for want of their required information. Another check can be done of the years of existence of the company, since when the company is in the market, whether it may be small or big. Now, coming from the stakeholders, now the customers are more demanding from companies the transparency, the authenticity, the ethical practices and legitimate brand promises, where the marketers have to pay a closer attention to what it means to build a brand. Another thing is their communication has to be very effective through content marketing. Some strategies have to be made on that. One has to get to know the customer, use the data to gain a better understanding of the customers. More resources, one can invest more in the resources to understand the insights needed to develop relevant content that provides what customer wants. Another, actively seek inputs. A company must develop an approach to solicit customer feedback. Today, because of technology, customers want to be more interactive with the company and looks for return on involvement rather than investment. Customers feel very valued if you indicate your willingness to hear them. Another thing is give customers what they want. Giving meaningful answers to their customers, challenges are the one who will be more successfully gaining the qualified leads. One has to be very transparent. Not companies that invest in building a culture of transparency, even internally, keeping employees updated on the company's performance and goals, as well as empowering them to make decisions, are better equipped to convincingly communicate those to the external audience. One has to quickly address the issues. Being transparent also involves readily admitting the mistakes and other shortcomings. Another thing is showcase the third-party validation. The case studies and other types of content that highlight positive customer interactions validate the brand promises. One has to maintain consistency of the tone, personality, and the message what is being outlined in the brand guidelines. A consistent brand presentation builds confidence among the targeted audience. So finally, earning the brand trust over time is by gaining a deeper understanding of your customers and following through with genuine, consistent interactions. You can be more effective at earning their trust over time. I think these are the things, the solutions and the critical things which can be taken care of, and we can win the brand trust of the customers. This is what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, you really explained very well that how the trust can be created in the eyes of, in the values of the customer. Really informative session. And now I'll call Mr. Mrityunjay Jina. He's there? Right, he's there. He's currently Director of National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, a constituted board of Quality Council of India, which is India's national accreditation body and is a part of international system of equivalence of the accreditation and certification, NABS accreditation certificates of the bodies of ISO 9001, ISO 13485, and so many, and product certifications and certification of the personal and inspection bodies as per the applicable international standards, and has accredited more than 80 certification bodies and more than 60 inspection bodies in India. He has overall 36 plus years of experience in the field of quality working in the management system, certification including 12 plus years of the national accreditation body, developed third-party evaluation mechanism and regulatory such as the Petroleum and Natural Gas and Development Regulatory of India. Actively participated and contributed as a member of Technical Committee of Development of QCI Voluntary Certification Scheme, ICMED 9000 and ICMED 13485 for medical devices and manufacturing, unique first scheme in the world. Actively involved in a lot of ISO technical merit committees of the development of the ISO standards. Also involved in drafting the ISO 50003 standard of energy management systems and auditor compliance and expert to ISO. Successfully developed a lot of various management system and accreditation programs, and as assessor of since 2000 10 and undergone the various training workshop of the CDM standards and accreditation process of the clean development mechanism conducted by the UNFCCC Germany. He holds master degree in business administration and post-graduation diploma in industrial safety and his bachelor in electrical engineer from Government of Engineering College of Culture. Mr. Jaina, such a wide experience, really appreciated. Let's over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen Bhatia ji, and good morning to all the panelists here. So I am going to talk about the personal care and cosmetic products, how the trust can be built up in India. As we know, India is one of the fastest growing consumer market globally. And with the transition from the unauthorized marketplace to an organized retail marketplace. And currently, India accounts for a tiny share of the global cosmetic and personal care market. However, this share is expected to increase significantly over the coming few years. And as we know, the domestic brands are trend towards nowadays it is natural or herbal, and Ayurvedic products are most stressed upon. So market size, as Mr. Bhatia ji already mentioned, it is growing at a rapid scale, cosmetic market and also personal care products. And also we are exporting in a BPC market, beauty and personal care market products around 2 billion USD in last year. So no doubt there is a lot of demand in the market and the manufacturing facilities are there. But at the same time, we have to see whether these products which are marketed, I mean to say manufactured and marketed here, are of the quality level or not. That is most important. Because only manufacturing and having the facilities and manufacturing in a huge quantity is not enough. That has to be accepted by the customer. And it's not only the domestic customer, but also it is the international customer, the exports we have to focus on. And for that, it is very essential, the 3 pillars of the quality infrastructure has to be taken care of. What are those? First is the standards. There are a lot of standards available for the personal care products. BIS has already published a lot of standards, Indian standards on various personal care products. And also there are some guidance standards on the GMP. So one of the standard is ISO 22716 22716, which is related to the guidance document on good manufacturing practices in cosmetic sector. So the manufacturers has to implement that to ensure that the products are manufactured in a hygienic way, and good manufacturing practices are there, and quality products are coming out of this organization. Second is that once it is the manufacturer has already implemented the standards, whatever whether it is national standards or it is international standards for the export. Second thing is that who is going to monitor that? Who is going to certify that yes, the product manufactured here is okay, is acceptable? That we call the conformity assessment. So these conformity assessment bodies like certification bodies, inspection bodies, or laboratory, the testing laboratories, has to ensure that the products manufactured in India are up to the mark as per the standards, whether it is national standards or international standards for the export. And at the same time, so there is a third pillar of the quality infrastructure of any country or the globe, is that we have to ensure the certification body or the inspection body or the laboratory who are testing the products or the services has to be globally accepted. Nowadays, in modern society, we cannot say we can only produce the material, produce the personal care products only for own consumption or the domestic consumption. We have to export it. For that, the standard has to be international standards. So one product, personal care product manufactured here, inspected or certified or tested in India has to be accepted globally which will promote the export. That is called accreditation. That is through accreditation structure. So the certification body or inspection body accredited by Indian accreditation body for a particular product, then that will be accepted if it is exported to other countries without any further testing or inspection or certification of that product, that will be accepted globally. That is called third level, that is accreditation. So these three pillars of the quality infrastructure, that is standards, the requirements of the product. Second is the conformity assessment, who is going to check and give a go ahead, that means quality is okay, and that certification body, inspection body has to be accepted globally, that is through accreditation. So these three pillars of the quality infrastructure, the manufacturers of India can gain trust on their brands, on the personal care products and the cosmetic products. So in NABCB, this is the NABCB National Accreditation Board for certification bodies, provides accreditation, and this personal care product can be certified by a certification body or inspection body accredited by the Quality Council of India on product certification. Like example, IUS certification. IUS products are many of the personal care products are falling under the IUS products. So those can be certified under international standard ISO 17065 product certification, and also inspection can be done for the manufacturers of personal care products as per the international standard ISO 7020, and the persons who are involved in manufacturing, the professionals of the GMP, good manufacturing practices, can be, these professionals can be certified under personal certification scheme, which is globally accepted as per the international standard ISO 17024. These three mainly broad standards, international standards are there for the manufacturers of personal care products and cosmetics, which will help them for brand trust, not in India, but also internationally. So by this, we can improve or increase our brand image and promote the products of the personal care and cosmetics. That's all about from my end.
Thank you, Mr. Jana. Very, very good presentation. As mentioned by Mr. Rakesh, that I just formed Tube Promotion Council. So I will definitely in touch with you to making a standards for the tubes. Till now, there's no standards has been made for the tubes. Whereas in European Tube Manufacturer Association, they fix up some standard for the tube manufacturer also. What should be the thickness, how the thing, so that it should be feel good factor, the product should be safe. So I will definitely in touch with you in future to take your help to make the standards of the tubes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now I will invite Mr. Mehta from Amazon. So Mr. Murnamay Mehta is an experienced and marketing and general management professional with 12-year track record of delivering results in a key role responsibility of the consumer products and products good space. I consider myself very fortunate in having again in the marketing, right from marketing in deep rural India on the Lifebuoy, on a digital heavy brands like Dove and Millennium in metros. Had recently moved to the commerce to experience in firsthand how that 100-year-old CPG and the retail industry is changing, play a small part in the craving a road ahead for the beauty personal care in India. We are transforming the way India buys and sells. He worked in various companies like Unilever India, ITC Godrej, etc., and beauty and personal care, strategic performance management, and global management, and LED brand building and premium skin cleansing brands. Mr. Mehta.
Thank you so much, Praveenji. Just a quick check. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for having me on this forum. It's very exciting to see representation from industry as well as policymakers and very senior members of this ecosystem. So thank you so much for having me. Just a quick look at what Amazon does, right? Amazon has millions of products that we sell, and beauty is one of the largest category. that we sell on Amazon in India. We have more than 25,000 brands. We have more than 30 lakh SKUs that we sell, and millions of customers buy beauty and personal care from Amazon every day from our website. In that context, product trust in personal care is something that Amazon cares very deeply about. And the reason why we care so much about it is because it affects both customers and brands. To customers, getting a low quality t-shirt is a different experience versus getting a low quality let's say shampoo, because it affects immediately your skin or your hair. It is a very high anxiety experience, and customers sometimes also report very serious consequences if a bad quality product is kind of used by them. On the other hand, for a brand, if a customer by chance interacts with a brand product that is of lower quality than what the brand desires, it would mean that the customer would lose trust on the brand, that the brand has built over decades of advertising and a lot of effort and marketing spends over the past many years. So as India's largest online beauty shopping marketplace, we believe in enabling the highest amount of product trust both for brands and for customers. And where we are able to do that is to use technology to enable this. One of the easiest and the most public feature that I think most of you who have seen Amazon would have seen is our customer review system. So if a certain product has a better quality than the others, customers talk about it, customers report it, and we see that kind of star rating on Amazon. So if you've gone to Amazon, you've seen that there are some products that have 1 star, some products that have 4 star. We enable customers to discover this, which is very difficult in an otherwise offline scenario where you would not know what the other customer is buying. However, that is just the tip of the iceberg. I think what I want to speak a bit about and touch a bit about on is what we do at the back end, because that is something that not everybody sees, and yet it plays a huge role in protecting the customer and the brand experience on Amazon. So to give you a sample of what we do, we have invested close to $500 million and 8,000 people to review and fight fraud and abuse on the platform. And to give you another sample of how technology works, in India there is a very clear laid down code of conduct and what kind of products are allowed to sell and what not, especially on ingredients that could be hazardous or ingredients that could be dangerous to the customer. Every 3 minutes, more than 3,500 software rules sweep the Amazon website, all of SKUs, and take down any product that is not compliant. And within that, what happens is a separate team then reviews and actions on those products. If you launch a new product and you upload it on Amazon, the first thing that would happen is a machine learning model would verify whether the product is compliant, whether it is falling under any of, for example, hazardous material categories, and accordingly it would be routed for action to be stored differently. To even if it is not compliant, we would even delist the product and not let the customer buy it on Amazon, because it would just erode the customer's trust both on the product and the brand. Additionally, we have a couple of other tools that we have kind of created over the years for brands. I'd briefly touch upon them just to get a sense of how Amazon enables brands to look at customer trust and protecting it as a marketplace and as a retail marketplace in India. So we have a tool called Brand Registry. So any brand that has an IPR over their product, their formulation, their logo, their design material, we invite the brand to use this free tool that is available to every single brand, regardless of whether they sell on Amazon or not. What it does is it records the brand as the owner of the IPR and then allows the brand to use very powerful text and image based search capabilities that we have created using machine learning to predict and prevent issues of any kind of lower quality product that could get seeping through for their brand can also control the kind of information that is provided for customers on their pages. And as of now, we have more than 350,000 brands who have enrolled on this service, and we continue to add hundreds and thousands of brands every year. Apart from this, we have a separate capability we have created for brands. It is called Project Transparency. Every brand in India, every product carries a certain code. If you've noticed, it's either a barcode or a serial number or a manufacturing batch code. And what Amazon does is it has created a system of creating a unique code for every single product item created. We allow brands to use this code and embed it into their product systems. So if you are creating a shampoo bottle, if you are creating a pack of lipsticks, if you are creating a pack of toothpaste, you're able to put a unique code on every single product automatically. Once you do that, Amazon would be able to trace this product from end to end, right from where you input that product into the Amazon system to where it is shipped out to the customer. In that way, we prevent any kind of spurious product to go out to the customer. And that's a high degree of control we offer to brands as well. Customers also have access to this data. They are able to open an app and check if the product that they got is authentic or not. Lastly, we have something called Project Zero. This is a very, very high leverage tool we have created where we allow brands to take down products on Amazon itself. So if you are a brand and you have access to Project Zero, what you would be able to do is look at a product and say, this is not up to my standards, and take the product listing down. It triggers an internal investigation. Our teams look at the product, talk to the brand, and then find out what the reality or the root cause is. And this leads to a much cleaner catalog that brands are able to therefore present to customers and that customers are able to buy. In a sense, what we want to do is to work at scale with 30 lakh SKUs, create mechanisms and tools that are open to every customer and every brand to use so that they can protect customer trust in this category. We are deeply committed to protecting product trust in beauty and personal care. And as one of the players in the market who is able to serve customers, we look forward to working with both brands and policyholders in this area. Thank you. Those are my points.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Very good. I think everybody will now, they must be knowing how the Amazon working, but now it gives a more clear idea on that.
Thank you so much, Pravinji.
Thank you. Now I'll call Mr. Dr. Tanveer Alam. Tanveer Alam doesn't require any introduction. I don't think so. He requires any introduction. So let's, Dr. Alam is there. He's a director in Indian Institute of Packaging. I think he was there. Mr. Jana, the one question I have for you that I discussed with you regarding the tube standards. So how we can go about it by the time when the Mr. Alam joins, so we can discuss on that. Because as you know, the tubes are a very important part because my cosmetic colleagues, Mrs. Anand and even Amazon, Mr. Mehta will know that because the tubes is a part where they can deliver better and a lot of standards are there. So how we can develop some standards so that all the tube manufacturers should take care of that standard and deliver the tubes in that manner so that cosmetic manufacturer doesn't face any problem and doesn't reject the tubes, you know.
Actually, the standards are made by BIS only. This is the national standard body, BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. But we develop the schemes like we accredit the certification body and inspection body, and those inspection body or certification body certify the product like it is a tube. Let's say tube is certified by a certification body or inspected by certification body. But your question is specific to development the standards. Product standard like tube standard, let's say. So it will be developed by BIS. You can approach to Bureau of Indian Standard. I can see there is a representative here in this panel of discussion. So we can approach to BIS for developing the standards if it is not yet developed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. I think Dr. Alam is now there. Dr. Tanveer Alam?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I was saying that you don't require any introduction. Everybody knows Dr. Tanveer Alam. He's the director of Indian Institute of Packaging. Now over to you, please.
Okay, thank you. And very good morning, all of you. And since yesterday, we have listened to several speakers on this subject. And yesterday's session, I was head session chairman of one of the session where the speaker talked about the different automations and machine and different barrier properties of different laminated tubes. So this international conference really, I flavor is beneficial for these stakeholders in such a pandemic situation, and it will be beneficial. I have seen the panelists of today, and there are different areas of expertise. Whether we are looking at for another technical session again will be the full of knowledge and in this subject, and I hope this international conference along with this exhibition will be great initiative for this lamitube industry, and especially the stakeholders of this particular segment. And we are looking forward for the new avenues of the lamitube industry. It will not be confined up to this pharmaceutical and cosmetic industry. We are very much positive. In coming days, we'll see the more application in including the food industry, because this lamitubes give the aesthetic as well as hygienic confidence among the consumer, and most is that it is very convenient in handling. So these are the features, and we are very much hopeful. And being an institute of the packaging, we are very much closely working with this industry. And already yesterday I have mentioned about that. We have first one of the lamitube we have used for the packaging of the Nalan gur, and many more applications. We are also working for another Ministry of Travel Ministry, and we are looking similar packaging solution. We are going to give this honey and organic honey like products. So with these words, I will not take too much time, because we are eagerly waiting to listen to the other eminent speaker on this subject. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. May I call Mr. Javraj Pillai from UFlex? Is there?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah. Mr. Pillai, thanks a lot for joining. And you also still don't need any introduction. Everybody knows you are one of the pillars of UFlex. Mr. Pillai is in charge of converting unit. I mean, I don't have to read your profile. I know very well.
Yes.
So, and I request you to just give a vote of thanks. Over to you, Mr. Pillai.
Thank you, PhD CCI, for organizing this. I also thank Mr. Bhatia for moderating the session. It was indeed a pleasure to hear Mrs. Anand, Mr. Jaina, Mr. Mehta, and Dr. Alam on the issue of promoting trust with respect to the tube business. Tube business is unique in many ways compared to other packaging forms when it comes to delivering the product trust. It not only carries the first moment of truth, but also ensures the promise of performance is delivered every time. Especially in a country like India, where you have to be ahead of the entry counterfeiter. New developments in digital printing, providing holograms, providing 360-degree prints, along with other methods, will go a long way in addressing all the issues which we are facing today. With this, I thank you all for the participation. I would also request Mr. Bhatia to consolidate the Tube Promotion Council and come out with more sessions in the future. Good luck. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. I will definitely do that. And I need always support of people like you so that we can start the initiative which we have taken for the tube promotion. So we need support of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we are closing that, and after that, we'll start the panel discussion. So roundtable panel discussion will be starting in 5 minutes, Rakhi, or we can start now?
We can start immediately.
We can start immediately. So again, the topic is promoting the product trust in the personal care. So here we can start the roundtable panel discussion. And in this, panelists are Dr. Tanveer Alam, Director in Indian Institute of Packaging, Mrs. Nagamani T, Scientist and Head PSD Bureau of Indian Standards, Mr. Mrityunjay Jaina, Director of Quality Council of India, just listening, Mrs. Kajal Anand, the former President of All India Cosmetic Manufacturer Association, Mr. Sukhdev Singh Saini, Packaging Lead and the Colgate Palmolive India, Mr. Shri Krishna Prabhu, Global Consultant, Packaging and Innovation, and former Global Technical Services and Packaging Manager, Mr. Rahul Bhargava, former Senior Director and Bexy Laboratory, Mr. Dipender Singh Narang, Director, Romana Herbal Care Private Limited, Mr. Sameer Kant Ahuja, Chief Manager, Regulatory, Multani Pharmaceutical Limited, Mr. Pradeep Pandey, Imami India, Ms. Rakhi Sharma, Vice President, Marketing and E-Commerce, Jovis India, Mr. Anupam Chaudhary, Johnson & Johnson. I think everybody's here or somebody's missing. You can go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead with this and let's start with Dr. Tanveer Alam. He will guide us for this panel discussion and he will give us some points where all panelists will keep on discussing. And who wants to speak in this, so he can raise a hand and accordingly he can give the views. And it is not, sequence is not there, it's all whosoever his own ideas, he can speak on this. And everybody should take care of the time limitation so that everybody should give the views and everybody should think another can give the views and give his ideas so that we can take a benefit of everybody's knowledge and their ideas. So let's start with Dr. Tanveer Alam. As you know, he's the director of Indian Institute of Packaging and he's doing a lot of things for all kind of packaging. And now we are requesting, already he has given a lot of contribution for the tube packaging. And as my personal request to give a tube packaging as a area which is a nascent market till now and give us some importance to this industry, which has started this industry in 1982, where the first tube is started by SL Propack in India, where before that is aluminium tubes. And after that, the journey is not stopped. And I must tell you, there's at present around 100 tube manufacturers are there, which having either Chinese machine or European machines. They're there, but they're serving an industry in their own manner. And new areas are coming where the new, when we talk about environment, they're talking about what the material we can use, where we can spoil the environment in a better manner, where we can save the environment. So let's start with Dr. Tanveer Alam. Dr. Alam.
Again, thank you very much. And I can start from yesterday's. And when I was in yesterday's session chairman, we have seen a different speaker. One of the speaker, he talked about the innovative packaging machine, especially in the context of that. So this is the need of when we are talking after the post-COVID challenges, then we are looking more hygienic and less touch of the packaging. So automation was one of the solution what the industry is looking forward. And when we talk about the automations, especially the machine manufacturing, regarding that, what is the important is that whatever the machine we industry is looking must be eco-friendly, and the approach should be the sustainable approach, and energy efficient should be there. These three aspects he has is the area of the concern when we are looking for the industry point of view. And more important now, we are looking, industry is looking the solution from it must be a sustainable approach. So this, and we are looking when we are talking about that aluminum based laminated tubes, now the packaging, the multi-layer film should be must be as having a good barrier property with keeping in must be recyclable approach. These are the few things I hope another panelist will talk about. And when we are having different panelists from the consumer, they will also talk about it, what the consumer requirement. These are the focus area we are looking from the another panelist. So because I'm not too much, today we are we want to hear from the another different speakers of this particular segment. So I will not take too much time, and I will hand over to the session chairman, moderator. Okay, please go ahead with this session, and we'll listen to the other speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to call Mr. Dipender Singh Narang. He is into Rosa Herbal Care begin, and his journey is a young entrepreneur. Mr. Devendra Singh Narang started an established cosmetic brand based on the natural remedies available in the old Ayurvedic to protect the skin and consistent beauty of the skin. Because this session is only on a personal care, so he is the right person to give us a more on a personal care about how the Rosa Herbal by developing Ayurvedic this thing, and he's developed a lot of new products in R&D along with the manufacturing techniques of the product. He has 11-year experience in the cosmetic business, started one cosmetic manufacturing unit in 2009 and expanded with one more than unit in 2011 in Gurgaon. After that, in the year of 2013, he expanded one more manufacturing unit in Bhiwadi of PET bottles and cosmetic with a total production capacity in more than 10 lakh liters on a monthly basis. The main face behind the Rosa Herbal is the founder, Mr. Raminder Singh Narang, who is the key person behind the iconic brand of Indian herbal cosmetic range. Ayur Herbal he is the person who started the brand around 40 years ago, which was based on a natural herbal and developed such a skincare and the protection herbal base and others. In the year 2015, with the Rosa Herbal adopted by the new development through the new idea of the younger brother of Dr. Rao Charan Singh Narang, started the modernized the brand base and adoption in new techniques with the advancement of the product as per the changing trend in the market. So as you know, the Ayurveda and herbal is a new thing in India and which is not being accepted in India and accepted in abroad also. So now Mr. Narang will give more light on this. Over to Mr. Narang.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dipender Singh Narang from Rosa Herbal Care. It's a brand. When I started the business, I came to business with this new brand and launched in the market with the guidance of my father, Raminder Singh Narang, who is the founder, chairman of Ayur Herbals. We are into cosmetics business for more than 40 years, and my total experience is nowadays is 11 years in this cosmetic industry. Trust can be created. We are talking about the personal care trust. Trust can be created by giving the customer with quality products with natural ingredients or herbal ingredients at a reasonable prices to cover the masses or according to the target audience. You can fix the target audience accordingly. You can decide the pricing. We are into masses so that our products are reached to each and every consumer with a reasonable prices and pocket friendly for everyone. To make them trust by giving quality products at a reasonable prices is the main factor by which you can make them trust. By giving or trial some samples to customers, once they try your product, after that they can know about the quality of the product, and if the quality suits them well and you are giving best quality, only then the customer gives word of mouth and it become a repeat customer for you. Otherwise, agar you can make a good product with good packaging, but the quality is not up to the mark, then the customer is not there to repeat or buy you again. The main focus is to give best and best quality at a reasonable price for each and every consumer, from lower middle to upper middle, pocket friendly prices, so that each and every can buy the products. That's the main focus and this is the main guidance we are working on. Thank you.
Very nice, and everybody knows the Ayur brand, and it's really marked. I think you have some international export also. I mean, you're doing a good export.
Yes.
So very nice, and outside also the people know about our Ayurvedic and herbal products, and they're accepting it. Now I would like to call Mr. Sukhdev Singh Saini. He's a packaging head in the Colgate Palmolive, India. Is there, Sukhdev ji?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. So Devji is a packaging supply chain professional with experience of 17-year experience of Unilever, GlaxoSmithKline, and General Mills. He is currently the packaging leader of the Colgate Palmolive, managing oral care and the personal care brands. His areas of expertise include the packaging strategy, design thinking, and sustainability. He is the numerous accolades of his name, including the CEO Award, World Star Packaging and Design Patent. He is a regular speaker at packaging printing forums and often writes a column in a technical magazine. He loves cooking, walking, listening, and Sufi music, and enjoys the basil tea with a book in hand. Great, Sukhdevji. So let's have with the tea and your ideas.
You, my bandwidth, network bandwidth is very, very low. Apologies for that. I think I was trying, but I think the network connectivity is low.
Your
Pardon me.
voice is coming. It's okay. It's okay. You can carry on.
Thanks for that, good introduction. Thank you, Bhattaji. So I will start with, I think, what are the values we care for as a company, and what when we deal with our consumers, even for customers. And I would say even at Colgate, I think caring is one of the top most values we care for, we work with. And as some of our previous speakers mentioned, I think trust is something which is cannot taken for granted or cannot be built within few days or even few months. It takes years to build that trust. And very often, I think our continuous engagement with our consumers, with our customers, that's what matters. And then I think it slowly gets to the point that it's our DNA, and consumers and customers get that the company is here to kind of work for longer years. They are working on quality products, and this is where I think they would like to make the companies and the products part of the daily routine. And I think if that is done, I think they understand that this is the sole reason of buying the products, that they can rely on us on everyday basis. And there are consumer needs to be fulfilled for, and there could be multiple companies who can do that. But why should they select us only, or why should they select any ABC organization? I think it is very clear, if they like the pricing, if they like the quality, if they feel that this is what they connect with, they will definitely go for it. I think there are 3-4 things which I would like to pinpoint in terms of whenever we are presenting any packaging or any design. I think it is important that we give a defect-free, a quality pack, as well as whatever artworks are given, they are consistent. So it should not happen a pack picked up in Delhi versus a pack picked up in Mumbai. It should be very, very different looking pack. So consumers might feel that this is a very spurious pack, or there is a kind of some concern over the counterfeiting. So there should not be a iota of doubt in their mind that this is the wrong product they are handling or they are buying. The claims should be very genuine. This is what everybody, I think, in today's world, I think everybody is working on that. And also, I think the labeling and communication part should be very clear. I think anybody who has some experience or some understanding of the category, they should be able to pick it up and then able to relate that the labeling and communication is very, very effective for them. And to the target audience, if it's for the mothers, it should be very clear for them. If it is for the old age people, it should be very clear for them. Also, if there are, say, complaints or suggestions or any good feedback, I think our communication channels should be very open. There should be a proper address, email, and everything should be there. I think that builds a lot of confidence, because if we don't see that the communication channels are not open, if there is a small line somewhere in a very, very low small font, people start doubting that, okay, this company is not maybe building its trust because they do not want us to communicate with them. I would say this is something which is very important. The latest trend right now, which we are seeing in all the countries, is sustainability and also caring about our planet. That's the latest about it. So that is now equivalent to consumer caring. If we are caring for the planet, if we are talking about sustainability initiatives, like where are the products sourced from, where are our raw materials, our packaging material, how is it coming, is it recycled, is it recyclable, and how it has to be disposed of. I think these are the new elements which have added to the trust of the consumers, and they are definitely looking at this there are many examples within India as well as internationally where consumers do want to buy those products and they feel that, okay, this company is definitely much better than other organizations. That's what I think the future trend actually going to be. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I agree on this. Now the consumer is also concerned that if the product is recyclable, so naturally the trust level increases, and that's why all the brand owners are taking care of that. The material which they are using, either packaging or other parts, it should be recyclable. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Pradeep Pandey from Imami. He's a Senior Vice President of Packaging Development at Imami, is a gold medalist from Indian Institute of Packaging in Mumbai, with more than 23 years of the packaging design, development and execution experience. He currently leads packaging development team at Imami Limited for domestic and international market. Pradeep is a previous experience includes stints both at national and international locations for assignments with Dabur India, Amway, Procter & Gamble, Singapore and China before joining Imami in 2015. Mr. Pradeep Pandey.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bhatia. And good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm really honored to be part of this discussion or the roundtable discussion where we are talking in details about what is the trust which is we need to have basically on the personal care front. If I just step back and look into the current situation from where we are going through with the pandemic situation and all, I think this has definitely created a new normal scenario for all of us. We have seen a significant growth and the behavior of the marketing or the behavior of buying the product in the consumers. We have seen a significant change, basically, if we just consider the last quarter of 2020, there is a significant change in the buying through the e-channel, where there is really 95% growth on the personal care front, which has happened on the e-channel growth itself. Here, if I look into split that between the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, I think very clearly it states out the tier 2 and tier 3 plus consumers are coming more on the e-channel platform and trying to basically buying the product from there. So that's the reason probably the value has not gone up, but the volume has gone significantly up. And tier 2, tier 3 consumers itself contributed nearly 14%, which the volume share they have taken from the tier 1 consumer. So that very clearly talks about the D2C direct to consumer. And that makes even the organizations to rethink about their strategy and bringing a lot of new products directly onto the this e-channel platform. By bringing this, of course, as I think we have talked very recently in some of the talks here is about the risk, and definitely there is going to be a risk when the multiple the brand owners come on the e-channel platform together and they start basically selling the product from there. Then how we are going to ensure the consistency and the quality of the product? This is very, very critical to keep building the consumers' trust on the product. And yes, there are some regulations which Mr. Jaya has also talked about that, how we are going to make that and we implement that consistently is something which is very, very important. We heard from the Amazon is yes, absolutely, they are putting a very good filter and everything to ensure the consumer does not lose the trust, which is absolutely important, a step which we are taking. If I just come back from there and focus start about the tube packaging, I think that is something which we are talking more here. Mr. Bhatia had mentioned that. I think the tube packaging is something which is a very versatile packaging, which the packaging industry is using since long. This is a very convenient form of a platform of a packaging. What is the need? I think the one thing which is absolutely important is the sustainability, which is the talk of today, how we can make this product more sustainable. And I'm so happy to basically share that yes, there are sustainable or the recyclable tubes which are available in the market, and there is a lot of innovations and there are a lot of effort which has gone behind of the industry to bring this sustainable or the recyclable tubes into the market, which is a good sign, and I'm thankful to the whole industry for that one, because as a user we always look forward for that, how we can make our brand values better through the recyclable tubes and everything. One of the things which potentially in Indian tube market would be required is how we can extend the uses of the tube more broadly by using the different applicators on the tube. Okay, I'm sure you must have you must have seen the portfolio of the tubes multiple in the international market, where the tube has got a multiple applicators on the top based on the uses of the different kind of the products and all. How we can ensure we can develop these kind of the things here in India so that the users can get that easily, and then expand the portfolio of the tubes not only to the limited categories where we are using it, but maybe taking it to the new diversified field, and also giving a new experience and aha moment to the consumers for that one. So that is something which definitely a need for tomorrow, and the industry should focus on that. And being a part of Imami team, I think where we are focusing with the very power brands with the personal care and all, plus also having the heritage of our Ayurvedic, which is a Jandu brand. We are trying to combine these things together and be a winning and providing the better product experience to the consumer. So that's something which definitely we are looking forward, and having a right association with the industry, with the tube, how we can leverage it to the most.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Very nice. And it means the packaging plays a very important role to creating a trust.
Absolutely.
Of the consumer, right?
Praveenji, I would like to add here.
Yeah, yes. Sure. Carry on.
Praveenji, since we are exporters also, a lot of demand is coming now, as in place from Switzerland, Canada. They are switching back over to glass bottles. They made us change all the packing from plastics into glass bottles. So that is again the trend what is coming. So we'll have to bring a lot of innovative ideas, because glass bottles are pretty heavy, right? So some innovation we'll have to bring also into that field now. And since through the glass the product is visible, so there also the trust building is done over there. That's what when I asked my importers that why is switching on that, because it becomes very expensive because of the heavy freight what is going on nowadays. So they said see-through is very important nowadays for the people to see. Though even in PET bottles the see-through is there, but they say it is not environment friendly. Hence we would like to get into the glass. So that is another thing what is taking back again. Was just to add that to the points what others are talking on the packaging.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well taken. Rakesh, you have some questions?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, there was some power. So we all
Rakhi ji, you're not at all audible. There is real poor connectivity.
Yeah.
There is little interruption, I think. Hello. forest.
No, it's absolutely blank. Nothing. You can't hear anything.
Just be hello. I'm audible now.
Yes, now it is audible.
It's audible now. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. For this technical glitch. Sorry for the interruption. In fact, because we have so that's the reason they have developed the consumer trust. But still, there are a lot of counterfeit consumer goods identical to the brands, and brand owners, they are not aware of that. We just need to know that what all necessary steps the established brands are taking, and how those products are damaging the trust of established brands. So how to deal with this? Because all the brands, they know that this is a major threat to certain brands. Their products are available and consumers are not aware because they are looking identical in packaging and other things. But the product inside is not of quality standards and all. So just I want that the speakers may please highlight on these issues also, so that we all benefited and all other benefited from these issues, how to deal with that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true that sometimes the duplicate, they change their spellings, and take the same picture of the brand on the packaging, and the consumer is always not well informed. I mean, because of the language, because the trust effects, and that's why the packaging plays. That's why I'm calling Mr. Rahul Bhargava. He is a qualified packaging technologist with over 33 years of experience of the chronicle success and significant contribution in research and development of the
Ravinji, you're not audible.
I should be. Now it's okay. Now it's okay?
Better. Now you're seen, but no voice.
Yeah, now it's okay?
Yeah.
Now it's okay, please.
Yeah. So I'll just repeat that definitely counterfeiting is a problem, and that's why the packaging plays a very important role, that to make original and duplicate products. And that's why I'm calling Mr. Rahul Bhargava as a qualified packaging technologist with over 33 years of chronicle success and significant contribution in research and development of packaging by creating benchmarks in quality parameters of most packaging material and machine, working in a various organizations like Rallis India, Dabur, Nefford, Ranbaxy, and Daiichi Senko. He quit Sun Pharma and Ranbaxy in 2019 to venture into packaging consultancy, covering the end-to-end pack design, business development support, technical services, cost, productivity improvement, and graphic and labeling. With rising concern of environment across the global, he recently set up a manufacturing unit of biodegradable chemical coating as the most appropriate replacement of single-use plastic, offering OGR, antifungal, and heat sea-level properties. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Give some thought on this and can't put it out. Over to
Yeah,
Mr.
good
Rahul.
afternoon, friends. Yeah, good afternoon, friends. I hope I'm audible.
You're
Yes.
audible.
Issue with it? Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Bhatia, for nice introduction. Well, the topic, today's topic is on trust building, and I feel yes, packaging and the product both play important role. So as a packaging technologist from packaging point of view, we look at number of things, and today in a short discussion that we're going to have, I'm going to cover what kind of things that packaging technologies should take care. What are the current issues? I mean, I'll especially focus on the issues related to the tube packaging and what all things we need to consider, and what are the future trends that can be there for the tube packaging and packaging in general. So I'll just briefly tell, as a packaging technologist, we look at the foremost to build a trust is have the product stability and compatibility. We should have the packaging which is giving the required stability to the product. I mean, if we have the shelf life of say 6 months, 9 months, or 2 years, or whatever we claim, so we need to have a packaging which gives that kind of shelf life to the product. So that's the basic requirement from a packaging person, that you need to have a packaging which is giving the shelf life to the product. Then it has to be compatible. The safety aspect of it, the quality of material that one selects, we need to ensure that it is compliant. There are no more migrations which take place from product to packaging and from packaging to product. That's very critical. There are some other issues with respect to heavy metals and other things that we have to ensure that we test our materials and the packaging materials and ensure they are right for the product. Because while we are developing the packaging, we have to consider not only the Indian requirement, what the Indian government says or what the regulations say, but in case we are exporting our product globally, so each of the country may have their own requirements. So whenever we design a packaging, we have to ensure that the packaging which we are selecting or which we are developing is meeting the regulations and the market requirement. While we have been focusing on regulations, the labeling is also part of it. But how the competition is in those countries, that's also very critical. We have to have some kind of benchmarks that when we are developing a packaging, that we should not lag behind in any of the parameters. Like some of the things that I observed, and during my tenure as a packaging technologist as well as a consumer, I find in many cases the product is not looked at very critically. I mean, especially for tube packaging, when we have very viscous product, many times I observe that almost 25% of the product stays inside the tube itself. Uh, Only the 75% is dispensed, whereas we waste 25%. So we have to critically look at the formulation, what kind of product it is, what is the viscosity of it, and it is not only the brand owners that have to look at, but even the packaging material suppliers or the machine suppliers, whether the filling is taking place properly, whether I mean, I just spoke about the dispensing, whether the product is getting dispensed or not. Because I mean, many times struggle that why. I mean, as a benchmark, we should not have less than 2-3% of our product left inside the packaging. Remaining 95 to 98% of the product should come out. But it so happens that the product that has been designed, which you may require that particular viscosity, but probably the packaging is not right for that, where we leave almost 20-25% of the product inside, and which is thrown. So one is the viscosity of the product. Then many times it may happen that product is has very low viscosity, so it will tend to flow. I mean, as you press, if you want say 1 ml of product or 1 gram of product, the viscosity is so much that 3 grams of product comes out. So we have to design or have the nozzle in such a way that it can control the flow of the product. I mean, I'm talking all these technical things right now, but I thought, from a consumer point of view, these are very critical, that what's the quality of product, the characteristic of product. Those are very critical in designing the packaging, and especially for tube packaging. I know it's very handy It's it gives a great feeling. The barrier properties can be obtained. Everything is fine. But if you put a wrong product in the pack, the purpose is defeated. I mean, a consumer, when we are talking about the trust, it is the quality that we are talking about, and quality also includes whether you're making the consumers, giving them a satisfying experience. Where, I mean, why should the consumer suffer if 20-25% of the product is left inside, or when he's trying to dispense the material, he doesn't get the right amount of product, or either he has to press too hard to take out the product, or with even slight pressing, a lot of product comes out. So that's another thing which we have to look at. And many times it happens that during storage of the packed product, the product separation takes place. I mean, it may happen that you have solid and liquid separate out in the packed product. So as you press, many times it can happen that only liquid comes out, and after that the solid starts coming out. So uh, what I mean to say is the product characteristics and selecting the right packaging is very critical in your trust building. Whatever trust we are talking about, the quality, we talk about sustainability, eco-friendliness, and everything is fine, cost and all. But these small things also add up in giving the trust factor to the end user. So these are some of the things as far as tube is concerned. I mean, we have other issues. I can cover like delamination that may take place. Again, it is a product and pack compatibility issue. So we have to ensure that what product we are packing, and whether the tube or the pack that we are selecting has the right structure, so that the delamination does not take place. There is no contamination that takes place. There is no reaction to the lacquer coating. I mean, if you're talking about aluminum tubes also, or whatever is the inner coatings, there should not be any reaction with the product, because ultimately, I mean, if we are talking about the personal care products, and or even the pharma products, any chemical reaction can be disaster, not only for the product, but it is going to harm the end user. So
That's right, Mr. Paul. Yeah, very
yeah,
nicely placed. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So I mean, as a packaging, I know I am going to speak for another 5 minutes. I hope you don't mind, or I'll cut
no,
short.
really, yeah, you have to, because other
Yeah. So just I'll conclude in 2 minutes. Because I thought I should spend little more time on giving that kind of, because I have had
I
R&D
wish I was here,
background.
but
I
yeah,
have
but there is
R&D
a lot of.
background, so I must tell that consider these things while developing the packaging. And as far as new areas where one should look at ultimately we all are working towards consumer convenience, or serving the end user. So look for new developments like spot application, that how we can have hands free or something of that sort. We don't have to touch the product with our hand if we have good applicators, as I think so Pradeep was talking about. So it can be a spot application, or it can be a drop size, or we can control the drop size. If it is 20 microliter or 25 microliter, how only that much quantity comes out. Like in pharma, it's very important. If you have steroids and all, we cannot have large quantity of product getting dispensed and you are applying. So those are areas which can be considered, or you can have tubes with pump. But again, we have to see that entire product comes out. It should not happen that we waste the product. And there are talks about the dual chamber. Many times uh, we have two different ingredients which are not compatible with each other, but are required as an end product. So you can have a dual chamber which can have two separate compartments, and at the time of dispensing they can be mixed and used. I mean, these are some of the features which can be given to consumers, and definitely they'll get to use your product, where these kind of features in the materials can be developed. Rakesh ji was talking about anti-counterfeiting features and other things that needs to be there. Yes, not only for consumer products, personal care, pharma. I mean, we have a lot of overt and covert features, but maybe it's time that we look at artificial intelligence or blockchain, where you don't have to do anything. There is no investment of, either capex investment or artwork changes or something. It's all artificial intelligence where the encryption takes place through the system, and you come to and it can be used for multiple purposes, not only as anti-counterfeiting feature, but even for promotional items and a lot of other things. We have issues where the pack sizes are small, so through this artificial intelligence you can have a lot of text matter which you can scan through a smartphone and read the entire thing about the product. If you want to promote, have some promotional schemes and other things, those can be done, anti-counterfeiting features and all. I think so I've said enough. Let other speakers also give their point of view, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahulji.
Yeah.
You have really raised a new point where the people like Mr. Jaina and Mrs. Nagamani T, she's a Bureau of Indian Standards, where you really raise when you raise the standards, when you fix the standards. So not only the product standard you should fix, so with that you should take the packaging also into the consideration while fixing the standards of the product. So in this background, I will like to call Mrs. Nagamani T, scientist and head PSD Bureau of Indian Standards.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak in this roundtable session on the packaging of the on the packaging issue of the cosmetics and general soaps, etc. All of you might be aware that we have a committee called as a Cosmetics Sectional Committee and Soaps and Surfactants Sectional Committee. These committees have published many of the Indian standards on cosmetics and soaps, etc., which are being governed by the Cosmetics Act 2020, and these are to be compulsory met as per quality of the products are to be met as per the standards in India. And in these, all the products are mostly packed in tubes, and we do have standards for tube packaging also. IS 12007 is the specification for laminated collapsible tubes. Of course, it is very old, but industry participation can make it more innovative and more updated. So this standard includes the plastic laminated tubes, providing packing for many of the formulations like toothpaste, cosmetics, medicines, creams, adhesives, etc. And the finished product shall pass most of the tests like leakage test, burst test, diameters, just for information, and it will be having end seal integration, water leakage test, external decoration test, as well as the ink adhesion test, which is very important for the labeling on the packaging. And we have recently published an Indian standard IS 17480, which is high density polyethylene multi-squeezable tube for packaging. This standard is the latest standard published in recently in 2020. This is also a performance standard, but includes few of the dimensions because that makes the pack size equal to verifying the pack size will be very easy if dimensions are included. And it is basically of a virgin HDPE material product, and it includes the optimum proportion of secondary polymers and copolymers like ethylene, vinyl, alcohol, adhesive copolymers, and colorants as additives. And these HDPE caps are also shall be of HDPE as per the standard. The requirements of the finished products include shoulder bound strength, overall migration, specific migration, water vapor transmission rate, and oxygen transmission rate. These water vapor transmission rate or oxygen transmission rate, I assume, to help us to make a maximum of the quantity of the product inside it, to check the quantity of the product coming out of the tube as a whole completely. Most probably, these requirements can help us in identifying whether all the product is coming out of the tube or something is still retaining, as Dr. Rahul Bhargava has informed earlier. So we can invite for further discussions if any comments for still improvement of the standard can be provided by the experts. And also we have all the other performance requirements like tube bursting test, drop test, and end seal integration, leakage test, product resistance on printed tube, and tape test for printed tubes, which is very much required for checking the label parameter, which is to be completely intact till the product is completely used to check whether the labeling requirements are completely visible and identifiable. And also we have cap release torque test, which help us to identify whether the cap is able to be sustained till the end of the completion of the product inside the multi-squeezable tube. We have environmental crack resistance test for tube shoulder, and also opacity, haze, transparency, product compatibility tests, and all those tests will help to check the performance of the tube, HDPE tube. And with respect to the glass bottles, we have an Indian standard IS 11984, which is a specification for glass bottles for free-flowing liquids. This may help for packing cosmetics also, as was suggesting by Madam Kajal Anand in her earlier talk. So hope members can view all the standards which are freely downloadable on BIS website, and can send your observations or comments still for the improvement of these specifications. And if you have any further suggestions for preparing Indian standards of multi-squeezable tubing for cosmetic industry or any food industry specifically, which can include the reusable component also. If any such work has been done, R&D work has been done, that will be helpful for creating the circular economy and sustainable growth of the country. Thank you. I think we are running out of the time, and so I think I have to we have to cut it short, and so I have completed my speech within 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And you're really given the broader idea what are the standards already taken. And we'll be definitely in touch with you and making some new standards for the tube industry and vis-a-vis so that the brand trust can be created more at the end consumer.
Yes,
And,
I just want to add here. Members can send the comments on PCD Petroleum Coal Department @bis.gov.in, and it is for the packaging. Comments are on the packaging standards. Then you can send your comments for relevant Indian standard, or you can also send your interest if becoming a member for nomination.
Okay.
It is available online, and you can mention it for PCD 21 Plastic Packaging Committee. Thank you.
Okay. And you can put this email on the chat box so that the people can note it in a much better manner. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, Bhattaji, just one more point as a consumer for the tubes. You know, a lot of brand owners, they're reducing their thicknesses of their tubes, you know, they are thinning down. But what I observe is they have thinned down so much that while capping also the tube D-shapes. So one should be very careful while, you know, thinning down or down gauging the laminate structure that, you know, these are things which add up to the trust, you know, when we are talking about the quality parameters and quality and other things, if we thin down so much while it serves your purpose of reducing the, you know, use of packaging material or plastic, but ultimately if the tube is getting D-shaped even while capping and uncapping, then it gives a reflects very poorly on the overall packaging. I mean, I'm talking about the lead brand, you know, where I just I'm using the toothpaste, and I found that it's so thin that it doesn't serve the purpose. I mean, it doesn't give that kind of feeling when you're using and you look upon packaging. Oh, this is what it is happening. Anyways, I thought as a consumer, I should share with everyone that while sustainability and environment, everything is fine, but don't thin down so much that it gives a wrong impression about the product and the brand. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is another.
Sir, I just want to add
Anyway,
here that the cap release torque test will surely help in the point you have added. And also the brimful capacity is always mentioned in the standard so that the amount that has been assured is met with and can be verified when testing.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thanks a lot. Now, let me call Ms. Rakhi Sharma, Vice President Marketing and E-Commerce of Jovis India. Rakhi Sharma is a growth marketer of 15 years of experience on marketing communication, growth marketing, media management, ATL luxury brands, positioning, public relation, digital marketing, web analytics, key account management, BTL activations, 360-degree activation, project launches, and many more, ma'am. You have a lot of long profile. Current assignment is the Vice President of Marketing and E-Commerce with the Jovis Herbal. At Jovis, she is taking care of the marketing vertical, which includes marketing strategy, digital marketing, product promotion across the country, budgeting, strategically manage the entire product development from the concept stage to post launch state along with the whole e-commerce business. So you definitely working on the trust, how you can create a trust in a public's eyes. So please give us your thought on this. Ms. Rakhi Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. Thank you, everybody. It was lovely listening to all of you. I'll take just less than 5 minutes to convey what I wanted to because I've been hearing and I was mostly interested in hearing because most of you are my seniors here and I'm somebody who always want to learn. So because I'm handling marketing and e-commerce, both the division for Jovis Herbal Care. It's Jovis Herbal Care. Jovis is a 18-year-old skincare and personal care brand, which has been pioneer in delivering best of the products and best of the services, and hence the reason that we have been so successful. And there's a trust quotient among our consumers who have been using Jovis products over the year. I want to take all of you back. What in 85s और 90s उस टाइम हमारे पास कौन से क्रीम और शैम्पू होते थे ठीक है there was a Vico turmeric or there was a maybe Margo shampoo or Lux. The cost of trust and those products only. As the time went by, we have had a lot of options. So now it's not only 5 shampoos or 5 creams. There is vegan, there is organic, there is herbal, and this and that. So there is Korean skin. So confused. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, carry on.
There is no continuity actually. There is a
or you can maybe shut down your video.
At your end or somewhere, some signal problem is there. So I think you can off your video so that you know. Sometimes, yeah. Now you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Consumer out there, which brand to trust, which brand. And the problem with there are equally a lot of tools.
I think there's some signal problem at her end. So there's a. Madam, we have a signal problem, I think, at your end because everybody can listen and but the things are not coming from her side.
Yes. Rakesh is.
Yeah, we can hear you,
Come back
Mr.
to
Bhatia.
Rakhi again. So, Mr. Bhatia, may please you continue with other speaker.
Yeah. So now let me call Mr. Shri Krishnan Prabhu. He is a global consultant for packaging. He's a former global technical services and packaging manager at Colgate Palmolive. Post-graduated from IIM Mumbai, worked for Colgate Palmolive as a global technology services and now global consultant, packaging development and innovation, cost saving and efficiency improvement project, quality and GMP. Mr. Prabhu.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bhatia ji. Quick introduction, but I was listening to all the speakers on both the sides, like Mr. Dipender ji is there or Rakhi ji is there, from company point of view or marketing and e-commerce. Amazon, of course, we heard earlier. Quick brief is, I'm of course from IIP and, I passed out in 90. So I have now 31 years of experience. In Colgate, I worked in Colgate for 25 years. And fortunately, I worked in all functions of supply chain and a lot of interaction with marketing and sales people in all the new launches and all. So, what I heard, I had just listed down some quick points when people were talking. So the main subject is trust and personal care products here. Now, personal care has person in it. So, obviously, when we talk of trust, the trust has to be built with every single individual in this world, which interacts with your product or your brand. And these brands, just to give you, because, 25 years in Colgate, as I say. Now, Colgate, is 215-year-old company. It is much older than many other multinationals like P&G or Unilever or Nestle's, competitors, as I call in my earlier work life. So 215 years of Colgate trust is what we really call. People don't call toothpaste. People say, give me Colgate. Like chocolates, since our childhood, we say that give us Cadbury's, not give me chocolate. So this is what, when brand name becomes synonymous with a category, that is, I call the highest level of trust which you have built over not years, it is decades and centuries of work which has happened. And I was fortunate to be, 25 years of my working life to be part of this great organization in India and worldwide where I work. Having said that, coming back to our trust and personal care, I always say that, packaging is the first interaction with every customer has before he accesses the product. So what is the packaging image which we want to build? What does that communicate to that particular consumer when he buys that product and before he starts using that product is very key, where the trust starts building over the years. Packaging, again, if you look, we talk in general, but every category, every single multinational where it operates, there are always 4 price points where the products are placed. Like we used to call, one are the value range of products, second are mid-price products, third is premium products, and fourth is super premium. So, every organization, every marketing and sales people in the world, in any successful global organizations, first have to have very clear thought of where their price point is, where out of these 4 categories their product is going to be placed, and then look at what packaging suits that particular price points, of course, because of margins and so many other things and MRP of the product. Product delivery and formulation, of course, is the most important, because finally, after you start access the product, packaging, the product is what you are going to use. The packaging, of course, is going to be thrown away in the dustbin, and then we'll talk about where it goes and where it goes. So formulation and actual product characteristics are, of course, very important, because if the consumer is not satisfied with the product per se, your packaging may be the best in the world, but he's not going to buy the product for only the packaging the next time around. So this is one important point. customer and consumer complaints are very important. See, there is no company in the world which produces flawless product and packaging. There will be some consumer complaints. There will be some dissatisfaction. So listening to consumer complaints worldwide, consumer and customer complaints is also the key cornerstone of every successful organization. Sometimes the consumer complaints may sound to be foolish. I'm using this word. But if you really talk to the consumer through your communications department, through right technical people on packaging and formulation side, you will get several insights which can lead to further development of your new products also, the needs of a consumer. Legal and regulatory things which we discuss, BIS standards are there, ASTM standards are there, DIN standards are there. So following regulatory and legal is mandatory in every country of the world. But truly global organizations, and again, I want to quote Colgate, where they are the world leader in oral care. They have standards which are much higher than BIS or certain ISO or international standards. And why these higher standards is, the thinking is, we don't want to put any product or material just to pass certain standards in a particular country. We want it to be at higher level than what the standard requirements or regulatory requirements are. So this point also I wanted to touch, and I have seen this in my worldwide working in Colgate, how every country, how our New York headquarters and the thinking of senior people on this is. Coming back to Amazon, now e-ordering, Amazon, Flipkart, this with COVID situation, we are seeing the e-ordering and e-business is just booming, And there I want to touch upon my experience that many times we order a mix of several products, but the way the box reaches us, and maybe sometimes we are not satisfied because we have a mix of 5-10 products into that box. And the way that internal contents, they in transport or in packaging or the way they are transited, the way they reach us may not be to our satisfaction. We may have a mix of super premium product with a value. We may have a cosmetic product with a food product getting packed in the same box. So this area I also feel worldwide has to be looked into by e-companies, how they are going to look at this packaging aspect of it. And last and not the least, sustainability, because everyone talks about green, carbon footprint, being sustainable. But here, as a senior packaging person, I participate in webinars, seminars. But as a person, as a Prabhu, what I truly feel is each one of us has to much more do things on sustainability or carbon footprint. Every way, how we can reduce the carbon footprint by reducing, recycling, reuse, all the 3 Rs which have now got expanded into 8 Rs maybe. That is a key point which also the senior people in the organization should be looking at. Because finally, even today, every customer has started giving, 20-25% of his thinking capability towards this carbon footprint, towards environment. It is not going to stop. It is going to increase more and more. Whether we pollute oceans or recycle, but sustainability is key point which you have to keep on developing, just like the brand trust over next 1 year, 10 years, 15 years as we go along. We see, 2020, 2030, 2035, 2050 goals on solar power and all. So similarly on packaging and on tubes or, all packaging materials, people have to seriously work on this sustainability aspect with true focus and look at how materials can be more sustainable, how the carbon footprint can be less. And I want to close with last one point because we are on laminate tubes. I joined Colgate on 1990. So I have seen the entire change from aluminum tubes to the laminate tubes. Today, when we are talking of all plastic laminate, which is EVOH or SIOX based tubes. Colgate was the first in India. I remember in 95, we launched a 250-gram stand-up tube without a carton, but which was with EVOH structure. Charmis was one of our cream, which we launched with SIOX structure then in 96 or 97. So when people had not even heard of this, and of course we worked with SL packaging which became SL Propack later on when they took over the Propack company, the tube manufacturing in Switzerland. But we as packaging people, we used to work with all the people in SL very closely on development things. What will be the future developments? How do we work? And of course, you know, I feel proud that when Colgate changed from aluminum to laminate tubes, SL became the world's largest tube manufacturer. We know, you know, I feel proud that, you know, there is one packaging company, SL Propack in India, which is the world's largest tube manufacturer in the world. But having said that, in next 5 or 10 years, I would like to truly see that we have all sustainable tubes, whether it is personal care, oral care, the recycling becomes easier. And that recycling will become easier when we have mono material laminate tubes with, of course, barrier properties. Because we all know shoulder is HDP, cap may be PP, but cap can be changed to certain HDP materials, so it becomes mono material. And now with HDP or polyethylene based body of the tube with barrier properties, not having foil or metallized polyester or paper mix into it, I see a trend going towards truly sustainable tubes worldwide if we move in this direction. And there are ideas in the industry. I, as a hardcore development person, having worked worldwide, you know, outside India also, there are several ideas, but somebody has to bell the cat and start doing this business. So
Right.
with this, you know, quick thoughts, and thank you very much to all the people.
Thank you, Mr. Prabhu. Let me tell you, yesterday in our one of the session, there's one company called Registry Polypacks Limited. They are developing a 9-layer barrier with a PP and all, and where they can eliminate the aluminum layer in the laminate. They are working, they're doing that a lot of work on this, and I think what they say by April, May, they will go into commercial, and yesterday they had given the presentation. And the industry is working towards that so that we can avoid aluminum foil and other things so that they can be fully recycled. Right?
Yeah, and see what I said was EVOH, you know, ethyl vinyl alcohol.
Right.
That already exists. 25 years back,
I
it is
know.
there.
Yeah.
Cyox-based tubes also are there. It is only the brand owners, the big companies in the world, and every single, whether it is Mr. Dipender Singh or, you know, Rakhi ji, companies, everyone has to think, towards this goal. I'm not going to use multi-layer laminate tubes.
Right.
There are options available. There may be slight on cost, but when everyone moves, of course, the costs are going to drop down.
Yeah.
And you will force the tube manufacturing companies, like, you know, Colgate made SL Propack the world largest, because when we decided aluminum to laminate, I remember their Wasint was their only plant in 90s. But worldwide, they became the world's largest, right?
Right.
So similarly on sustainability, if certain things are planned, I am sure that something good will come out.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Now let me call Mr. Sameer Kant Ahuja. He's the Chief Manager Regulatory Multani Pharmaceutical Limited. He's a pharmaceutical and a management professional with 10-year diverse experience in regulatory marketing services, product development in sales and pharmaceutical industry, and 6 years of experience in government license and healthcare sector, including hospital, pharmaceutical, diagnostic, medical devices, and insurance industry, while heading health and Ayush, Ayurveda, Yoga and Ayurvedic Unani, Homeopathic Committee at PhD Chamber of Commerce. Currently working as a Chief Manager, Regulatory Multani Pharmaceutical Limited, established in 1938. It's one of the leading manufacturers in the field of Ayurvedic and Unani medicines. So, Mr. Sameer Kant Ahuja, please take the dais, and I'll request you to take a minimum time so that we can have some opinion, because Ms. Kajal Anand wants to speak something on, he raised some questions, and we'll have something from Mr. Jaina also, and after that we'll summarize. Let
Sure,
Mr.
sir.
Sameer.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll take just 3 to 4 minutes. Sorry. So good afternoon to all the stalwarts of the industry. So as our topic is roundtable on promoting product trust in personal care. So when we are talking about this personal care, that means we are dealing with human beings. So a question arises, how safe our product is? So that is very important. If we are dealing with human beings, so quality is a must. to my sense, apart from all the market factors like economic, factors, like we have to go for the some premium products or the less premium products, the most important factor is the quality of the product. Because when these personal care products people uses, they might or they may get some of the adverse reactions also related to skin or to the some other part of the body. So we have to have check on the counterfeiting activities. If somebody is if a company is doing best, but some counterfeiting activities are going on, so we should check on it. Okay, so and there are very good lines like, do not give your trust unless you receive each of these items. So what are those items? So we have a complete this thing. I'll choose about this trust. So trust, let us elaborate the word trust. Trust, T for truth, R for responsibility, U for unity, S for service, and then T for transparency. So when we are saying about this truth, so every company should convey what they want to convey, but convey as a truth to the consumer. That is very important. Don't do false commitments, false claims. Second is R for responsibility. Be responsible for the quality of what quality of the product you are providing to the consumer. Third, again, U for unity. So that take complete entity as one, be united, then only you can provide the best product or the quality product to everyone. Have a sense of oneness. Then, of course, S for service. Give the best service to your customers. With the if you're claiming good quality, then give good quality. And of course, if they are feeling some adverse reactions or having some problems with their product, try to resolve that. Then T again, that is transparency. Be transparent with your customers. And the only thing I would like to convey here, because it's actually totally oriented towards packaging part. Of course, when we are saying about this quality part or the quality of the product, so we should also consider, of course, like Mr. Rahul Bhagwa said nicely, that we should consider few points, that interaction of that your product with that tube material, that is very important. And that generally it happens, and people come across with them some adverse reactions of the tube or the product. So this trust, the trust word itself is conveying everything. So the only, as I belong to this Ayurveda industry, and we if we write on our product, it is 100% organic. So that means we are using all the ingredients in organic forms, not the fertilizers used items. So and just to apprise you about our this background of our company, like we are into Ayurveda, but now we are getting into the backward integration of our business. That is, we are now getting into the cultivation of herbs, because now we are claiming that our products are organic and totally herbal. So that's all I would like to convey. Thank you. In 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sameer. Very nice. Thanks a lot. Let me call Rakhi Sharma again. I think she joined. We could not hear her presentation. Rakhi, you are there?
Yeah, I'm there. I hope I'm audible this time.
Okay. Yeah, please carry on. And be short, because now you already lost some time, so you have to take care of that.
I will take 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Bhatia, I would like to say just few things. Everything has changed, and everything has changed on 100x levels post COVID. So, I guess I remember this was the exact last year, same date when I stopped getting out of my house, and since then everything has changed. How people are buying things, how much consideration they are paying towards the ingredients, the usefulness of the product, especially in skincare and personal care, has completely changed. Uh, I mean, the user, when we say influence, so there was a recent survey by Nielsen which says that consumer these days were uh, were online 24/7. They're less interested. 92% consumers says that they're less interested in seeing any celebrity or a traditional advertiser, but they are more interested in listening to an influencer. So influencer is somebody who represents the consumer. They don't want to see somebody who is perfectly beautiful with straight hair and clean skin. No, they want to see somebody with flaws, with skin issues, and these influencers are the people who are depicting the real life problem with the real life solutions. Having said that, there is a lot of clutter in the influencer industry also these days. Uh, the idea is uh, to address the consumer problems at the very same time. Don't dodge the problem. So if a customer is asking that I'm having redness after using your product, so instead of saying that no, my product is good and it has never happened before, because trust me, it has happened with me before I was part of the skincare industry. uh, there were very few brands who were ready to listen to the actual consumer problem, and the only brands who are winning this race and the trust are those who are listening in understanding the consumer problems. There are fads these days that everybody is launching onion oil, everybody is launching some hyaluronic acid. See, the customer is aware these days. You can't make a fool of the consumer. So the only winner at the end of the day is how good the quality of your product and service is. If you, no matter how much you advertise, how much you're spending on your online marketing, digital marketing, or kind of discounts you're giving, if your product is not good at the end of the day, you're not a winner there. So to win, at the end, the only everything comes down to one thing: how good a product is. I guess that's the reason Jovi's Herbal has been able to survive and establish itself as one of the pioneer herbal skincare brand from past 18 years. This is what I want to say, and the problem with trust is that it can't be established quickly or through gimmicks. It has to win over a certain point of time with the quality of products which you're delivering. So that's it. This is what I want to say, and a lot to learn from everybody. I hope to see you guys on the same platform some other day as well. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We as a veteran professionals who are already there, a lot of things has to be learned from the young entrepreneur and dynamic people like you. And we all know the Jovis is doing good. All the best. Now let me call again Miss Kajal Anand. She has some points and some questions she raised. So Miss Kajal, can you again brief something on a trust for the topic which we are discussing? Yeah.
Now, I'm as not as a speaker, but as one of the listeners, I would
Right.
like to ask the House that what would we convey the key points as a manufacturer to the consumer in their building trust on our brand? That is one. Secondly, are the big companies educating public on this aspect? These are my two questions. I would like the House to answer that. Now, I'm not a speaker, but a listener.
Who would like to answer this? Mr. Jaina, you are a standard specialist, so you can speak something on this. Yeah.
Yes, as a manufacturer of the packaging material, the topic is we have to focus on the quality of the product. I mean the packaging, tubes, whatever. So at the same time, there will be a lot of issues like one of our panelists talked about counterfeiting. So that counterfeiting, we have to have a mechanism to identify the counterfeiting and how that can be avoided. So a lot of awareness in the consumers or the customers of our product who are using. So that is most important. Through awareness of our product or branding, we can provide a good services, and trust building can happen in the consumer and the customer. And one more additional point I would like to mention here, which we have not talked about, because most of our in future we are going to export a lot. At the presently it is not much, we are importing, but lot of export is going to happen. In labeling of the packaging material, there are a lot of regulation in different countries. They have their own regulations. So the industries, our industry manufacturers, they should adopt the concept of good regulatory practices, so that it should be it will assist in meeting the international obligations under WTO agreements. So then only we can easily export our products without any hassle and meeting the international regulations, good regulatory practices. So I think I am able to respond that, and also
Yeah.
at the same time.
Another thing, ma'am, I'd like to add, because ultimately there is a responsibility of the brand owner also when they go for a social media or electronic media. So give a right kind of education to the consumer at large, because you can't before them. Because if you see the very big brand Unilever, they had a Fair and Lovely, and they changed the brand to Glow and Lovely. Whatever the reason was, there was a lot of things was there that they should why you use a Fair and Lovely because of the color discriminations and other things and all. So ultimately, the more responsibility comes to the brand owners. So what kind of because the trusting, giving a trust to the consumer at large, the brand owners finds the maximum responsibility. Then ultimately, the packaging developers only depend on the brand owners what the brand owners wants to be written on their product or packaging. But the brand owners has the more responsibility to give the fair view of their product, so that ultimately go the long life. If you see the some of the brands which our father was using and we are still there alive, is like something like a Life Boy or the other long brand, Boroli, the very long brand which is still survive because of the trust, because of the association with the consumer, and the consumer are still taking that brand with a something amount of trust with them. So whenever they anybody give a wrong information to the consumer, ultimately the brand suffers. So that's more responsible. Anybody would like to add something on this? Yeah, Mr.
Maybe
Bhatt.
I can just build on one point. I think absolutely, like in the current scenario, the way the brands are getting into the market, and if we want to get in there as fast as possible with the Me Too kind of a scenario, I think that is going to be more dangerous. So here, how robust in your process of qualification is something which plays a very critical role. If I'm getting into the market without doing the complete qualification and all, just to meet up the business need or something, that is not right, because that is something which is playing against the consumer, because we have not done the complete qualification.
Right.
What I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to ask is, every manufacturer, when they put their products in the market, they are very sure of the brand quality and everything. But my point is, how would a consumer come to know? What is the key thing? What a consumer should look into, whether he should trust that brand or not? That is what is the happen. I would like Mr. Prabhu to answer, since he is from Colgate, 200 years old company. What have they been doing in this aspect?
Yes, Mr. Prabhu.
The consumer psyche works. Each one of us here today who is debating, will have a slightly different answer. Because I truly feel that, like I mentioned about chocolates and Cadbury, and, toothpaste and Colgate. Uh, you know, if a book would have been written, I don't know whether it will capture all aspects, because these are dynamic things. Over generations, the needs of the people. If we see ourselves when we were in school, in 80s when I was, and then as somebody mentioned, I think Rakhi ji was mentioning that, how many shampoos did we have then? I remember before I joined Colgate, when I joined Colgate, I came to know that Halo was Colgate brand. Palmolive, of course, was there. But today, Halo and Palmolive shampoo doesn't exist in India market, right? So this has happened in last 30 years, or and I was part of this, like what I can share is sometimes companies based on financials, profits, share market, how to, value has to be higher, profitability. Good brands also get killed because they may not be sustainable. When Levers came up with Clinic or Head and Shoulders by P&G in 90s, Colgate had Palmolive anti-dandruff shampoo, but we closed it down. I asked my marketing people, market is going towards anti-dandruff. Why are we shutting down? But there were various reasons. I did not maybe get a proper answer to it. This will continue happening, because if somebody has answer, Mr. Rakhi ji is there or Dipender ji is there, all industrialist business owners. If somebody has answer to this, you have cracked, you have cracked the answer to how success will come to you. And, you
A
will
lot
become
of brands are coming.
right. So
Yeah,
I
another
don't
thing
know.
I'll add with respect to trust, I think so, how you communicate with your consumers. So if we have a smart and intelligent packaging which communicates with the consumer, see, the more information you give to the consumer, the trust builds up. It's not that you sell the product and your relationship with the consumer ends. And if you start communicating with them through, I mean, now we talk about digitization and those kind of things. So if you start interacting, giving them more information about the product, you tell them these are the possible areas they can explore or the problems which are there. If you, the more you communicate, the trust factor improves. So
And
as I was talking earlier about the artificial intelligence and all, so you do encryption and all, you give that power to the consumer, so that consumer feels, yes, I have the power to cross check the genuineness of the product. I have power to ask more questions. I have more power to understand the product, or they talk about the formulation of the product, how they're doing. I mean, there are various ways you can communicate with the consumer, and once you do that, the trust automatically improves. It's not just only advertisements and all that the trust builds. It's beyond that.
Ultimately, the
This
consumer.
age of
I want
smartphones
to
and
just
other things. That's how it is.
I want
Thank you.
to add just one more point. As they say in our culture also, first it has to be within. If it is within you, then the outside will is a result of what you have within. So in case of our products, what I feel is the packaging and the product itself should have the intrinsic strength, wherever you have targeted it in the market. So as I said earlier, the four categories: value, mid price, premium, super premium. That is as far as packaging and the communication and all goes. And second is the product itself, what plus the product has. This mix, if you have within your supply chain, when you produce it, when you do every activity, whether it is quality, whether it is packaging development, then the next part comes, which is the demand chain, which is marketing and sales part. How do you do promos? How do you communicate? How do you do advertisement? How much money you spend? Where are the target consumers, where you catch them, whether through paper, through advertisement or whatever, spend of money. So it is a mix of everything, I feel.
Thank you, and that's
Sir,
really
build
nice and
trust.
wonderful.
The most simple answer of trust is you mother and child, but that is born thing. The rest, everything what we are talking is what if this happened, what if, and if we have an answer, then every marketing and salesperson will be successful, in everything what we do.
Praveerji, I would just like to add here that next time we should have a webinar. I mean, I would request PhD to call the consumers and ask them what they look up to being in a brand and the trust.
Right. That's a very good suggestion, and we would like to add in the webinar the consumers, end consumers, their viewpoints and everything. With all, I'm thankful to everybody. Everybody spared some time, and I'm sorry for that. I delayed everybody's lunch, and but anyway, because of everybody's good views, we have to listen, and everybody participated very well. Thanks a lot. And I will hand over to Mr. Rakhi. Rakhi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Pravinji. Thanks all the people.
Thank you very much.
Great interaction. Thank you very much.
Very, very interesting. Now,
Yeah, thank
so
you.
before I conclude, I would also like to say, because we have two important organizations among us, that is Quality Council of India and Bureau of Indian Standards. I request them means a piece of advice to the company, those who are present here, to the brand owner, so that it will be a takeaway for them also and for all of us also. At present, I can see that we have 184 people who are attending this through the YouTube link also and through our platform also. So any piece of advice, one by one, I start with Mr. Jaina, please, your piece of advice.
Yes, since Quality Council of India deals with the conformity assessment body accreditation, what I can suggest to industries into the packaging industry, follow the standards, international standards or Indian standards. They should follow certain standards for the products, specification, technical standards, and also for some system standards. Like there are standards available on the GMP, good manufacturing practices, good hygienic practices in the industry, so that good product can be reached to the consumers. That is most important first. Second point is that you are think about not only consumption in the country, like manufacturing and consumption. You think export. So if you are planning for the export from the international standards, how this accepted globally. If tomorrow you are going for the product, the packaging material, packaging product in personal care, so that should be accepted globally. And for that, you should follow a quality infrastructure what I have discussed. That is accredited certification, accredited inspection, accredited testing laboratory, like NABL accredited in India. So the product is accredited from here, the test is carried out by NABL accredited lab, then there is no need for getting it tested in the importing country. So that quality infrastructure has to be followed. Then you go for a system standards and product standards in country, so that your system and where you are manufacturing the product, the quality also improve. It's not only the quality but also the environmental friendly and the safety and the quality. Three factors has to be taken care for the manufacturing.
नहीं अभी मेरी बात सुनिए, आप मत ध्यान दीजिए। एक फाइल आपको दे रहा हूँ, कुछ पॉइंट्स मिल लीजिए, ठीक है, और रियल केबल से मिल लीजिए।
So please put on mute whoever is talking.
Asmir, I request you to please put on mute.
So every industry, packaging industry should follow certain standards, and more suggested it is to go for a international standards and Indian standard available here. So that your quality will improve, no doubt, and also that will build up a trust in the consumer or the clients that this product is accepted globally and it is a globally accepted product. So one should go for that. And automatically, if you are following a system, whether it is international standard or Indian standard, there is a mechanism for handling the complaints, and which is a very much important for giving a trust, improving the trust on the brand of the products. So this is all about what I can suggest.
Thank you, Mr. Jaina. Yeah, I think all these things are very relevant, and I request now, Madam Nagmani ji, please have a piece of advice to the participants.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And consumer is the main important component of any market. So it is the duty of all the manufacturers or the marketing industry to look into the standards applicable of a nation and try to adhere to that and try to develop the testing facilities in their premises and have a record of the testing done for the product, whatever the raw materials or the packaging material, including the outer packaging, secondary packaging, and so. So that gives a more transparent system for the consumer to trust whenever they have a doubt on the product or on the packaging, on the quantity of the bag they are receiving, etc. So I think all the manufacturers need to concentrate more on becoming a little more transparent through their websites, giving more consumer related information, or trying to make the consumer more active. As of now, consumers are more active online, and everything they are able to see through Googling. And so I think all the manufacturers in India also can try to develop this type of some questionnaire type of or random type of information for the customers, so that they not only depend on the labeling of the product, but also have some more information from the websites of the manufacturers that may give more input to the consumers, as well as it may become a trade improvement part from the manufacturer side also. And overall, we will have a good quality improvement in the products that we are availing. Thank you. And I just, before ending, I just want to say all the Indian standards which are indigenously prepared are free of cost and are available online. And so whatever the product standards for the cosmetics or the personal care items or packaging materials we have discussed till now are available on the BIS website. And so you can see the standards, and if you have any comments for improvement of the standard, for its applicability in our country or for other trades, so you can always send your comments on the BIS portal or by email on pcd@bas.gov.in. Thank you.
I have one point to mention here. If any industry wanted to go for any kind of certification, they may not be knowing, or if they are interested to go for any certification available to globally acceptable standards, so they can approach to QCI, and QCI can provide the guidance, I mean to say information, to whom they can contact the certification body or inspection body, so that they get certified or inspected or laboratory tested for their materials.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you, Mr. Jaina. And before concluding, if anyone wants to say anything one by one in quickly, yeah, Mr. Pandey.
Yeah, I have just one quick question, rather. As we are basically growing into the e-supply chain and all, need to understand if BIS has any standard for supply chain qualification, which is applicable for the e-supply chain or the e-channel, like equivalent to ISTA or something.
We have supply chain standards published, and I am not related with that committees. I am in the PCD Petroleum Coal Related Department. So, sir, you please drop me a mail so that I will surely give reply by after checking. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll appreciate if you can just give me your email address on the chat box. I will.
Madam has already put the email address in the chat box, so you may
I'm
note it
unable
down.
to send it to everyone. So that's why I have sent it to the organizers.
Yep. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, next please. Mr. Prabhu, you want to say quickly? Yeah, any comments, Mr. Bhargav?
Just one comment. I mean, one has to focus on, I mean, I'll tell the packaging material manufacturers, like the tube manufacturers over here, and the brand owners, focus on consumer convenience. Give as much information to the consumers on your products, and have some safety features, and I would say the safety features are very critical element of packaging, and have the convenience built into your packaging so that they love to use your product. That's it.
Thank you. So I think we have already overshot our time as per the scheduled time. So I conclude it here. before concluding, I must say thank you to all my speakers, and we have some speakers, those who could not join in absentia. I would also like to say thanks to them also. Like I got a phone call from Mr. Pramod Tiwari, who is the DG of BIS. He wanted the link of joining. I just sent the link also, but he could not join, and because he said that Ms. Nagmani is already there and Mr. Jantaroy Chaudhary is also there, but Mr. Jantaroy Chaudhary is also could not join due to some other meeting. So I thank you them also in absentia, and also I thank you Mr. Anupam Misra in absentia, because he could also not join because of some parliament session engagement. And I thank Dr. Tanveer Alam for joining us today, as well as I think that he joined yesterday also, and that was very informative session for all of us. And I thank Mr. Murunme Mehta, and I also thank Amazon, not only that Mr. Murunme Mehta has spoke during the opening session, but also Amazon supported this initiative. Thank you very much supporting this initiative. And Mr. Kajal Anand, I must thank you that you are former president of All India Cosmetic Manufacturers Associations. You might have faced these challenges with the personal care products with your members also. So thank you so much. I hope that several of your members were also joined here. And
yeah, that was the reason I was asking the questions for them.
yeah, so I knew that. So maybe because we could not take, several questions are there, but we could not take. But obviously, your members are welcome to send the questions to me, and I'll send to the relevant people for a suitable answer from them. Those speakers available here. And
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sukhdev Saini, for joining. Thank you, Mr. Srikrant Prabhu, Mr. Rahul Bhargav, Mr. Dipendra Singh Narang. Thank you, Samir, for joining. Yeah, you could not join earlier, but you joined late. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Pradeep Pandey. Thank you, Ms. Rakhi. And last but not the least, I must say thank you to our founder of Tube Promotion Council, Mr. Praveen Bhatia, for conducting this session. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.